During the 1950s and 60s, when the world was burning in the flames of the Cold War, the United States and the Soviet Union were attempting to beat each other in every field. Nuclear technology, the space race, and espionage, those were only the surface issues. But what was hidden from the world was a horrifying experiment designed to seize control of the human mind. The CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency, launched a secret project still regarded today as one of the world's most controversial and darkest government operations. That project was called MK Ultra. MK Ultra was not a fable. It was a documented, yet for years hidden project in which the CIA carried out terrifying experiments on people without their consent to gain complete control over their minds. The goal was to break a person's brain to such an extent that it could be reprogrammed, like a blank page. The first and most powerful weapon in this mission was LSD. LSD, or lysergic acid diethylamide, is a hallucinogenic drug that severs a person's mind from reality. When someone is given LSD, everything appears to change. The sense of time disappears. Voices become strange. One's own thoughts are no longer under one's control. The CIA used LSD to see, could a person's mind become soft and vulnerable in that state? Could new ideas or commands be injected into their minds in that moment? And it wasn't limited to LSD. Under MK Ultra, many other dangerous drugs were tested, such as barbiturates to induce sedation and render someone unconscious, amphetamines to make them hyper-alert until mental breakdown, mescaline to cause hallucinations and spiritual confusion, scopolamine to erase memory, BZ, 3-quinculidinyl benzylate, a chemical warfare agent that completely distorts the mind, making someone aggressive or paranoid. These drugs were often given in combinations. First barbiturate to render unconscious, then LSD or scopolamine to break a person's identity. Now consider the mental torture called behavioral modification in MK Ultra. People were subjected to electroshock therapy. Shocks of pain and hate were applied not just to the head, but the chest, hands, even genitals, again and again. Sleep deprivation was a common method. People were denied sleep for 3, 4, or even 10 days. Lights stayed on continuously, and loud industrial noises were blasted into their ears just to collapse their minds. Sensory deprivation was also used. Subjects were locked in dark, silent rooms, blindfolds on their eyes, cotton in their ears, or headphones playing white noise. Sometimes they were wrapped in tight suits so they couldn't move their hands or legs. Forced repetition, a technique called psychic driving. Patients listened to the same recorded sentence day and night, such as, "You are not who you think you are. You will obey." This message was repeated thousands of times until the patient accepted it as their own real thought. Hypnosis was also used. Subjects made deeply suggestible, their minds artificially implanted with false memories, or attempts were made to delete genuine ones. This torture was not only mental, but emotional and physical too. Many were forced to face their past trauma or phobias with no support. And when they suffered mental breakdowns, they were given more drugs or shocks to reset them again. The CIA believed that if you destroy a person's identity, memory, and logic, you could program them like a computer after wiping its old data and installing a new operating system. All of this was in clear violation of human rights, but the justification at that time was one: national security. The project began in 1953 under the orders of CIA Director Allen Dulles. He made it part of national security policy. Dulles reasoned that the USSR and China were already working on mind control, And if America did not progress first in this field, it would fall behind. Under MKUltra, many sub-projects were created. Officially, the number was never confirmed. Estimates say more than 150. MKUltra wasn't just a lab experiment. It was an entire invisible empire in which the CIA exploited universities, hospitals, mental asylums, and prisons, places no one suspected. These societal institutions held the most trust, and the CIA used that trust for its darker purposes. American universities, Harvard, Stanford, Columbia, Yale, where the world's brilliant minds are trained, became hidden field labs for MKUltra. Professors and researchers were funded to work on LSD, hypnosis, behavior control, memory alteration, but were not told the actual sponsor was the CIA. They were told it was mental health or cognitive research. Meanwhile, students and volunteers were unwitting subjects in a massive mind control experiment. A famous case at Harvard involved Ted Kaczynski, who was subjected to LSD and psychological manipulation, later becoming the terrorist known as the Unabomber. Hospitals also became CIA tools. Patients entering for depression, anxiety, or stress were secretly administered experimental drugs. Some lost touch with reality. Some lost consciousness. Sleep deprivation and electroshock were applied without consent. Every reaction was recorded as if they were experimental animals, with data secretly sent to the CIA, while doctors believed they were conducting normal research. Mental asylums proved most useful for MKUltra. There were already vulnerable, isolated individuals with no voice in society. The CIA subjected them to heavy LSD doses, electric shock therapy, and attempts to erase their memories. Some forgot how to speak. Some forgot how to walk. Some became empty shells. Prisons were also part of this program. Criminals and inmates were targeted under the guise of rehabilitation, subjected to drugs, hypnosis, isolation, and sleep deprivation. The CIA wanted to see if a criminal's mind could be fully erased and reprogrammed into an obedient agent. In many cases, inmates later testified in courts, but no one listened. The most clever aspect was covert funding. The CIA never revealed its name. They created front organizations, fake medical councils, NGOs, scientific institutes, to funnel money to universities and hospitals. Researchers thought they were funded for scientific progress, but were unwittingly part of an intelligence operation. These institutions, places where people seek treatment, learning, and dignity, became sites of secret destruction and rebirth by the CIA. MKUltra existed to map the human mind and seize control over it. One of the most famous cases, scientist Frank Olson. A biological warfare expert working for the CIA, he was secretly dosed with LSD during a CIA retreat. Days later, he jumped or was pushed from the 10th floor of a New York hotel room and died. The CIA labeled it suicide, but his family sensed otherwise. Decades later, forensic analysis showed his head bore injuries that occurred before the fall, suggesting he may have been murdered. His death remains a mystery. MKUltra experiments were also conducted in Canada. At the Allen Memorial Institute in Montreal, Dr. Ewan Cameron used the psychic driving technique. Heavy LSD doses, electric shocks, induced comas for weeks, claiming to treat mental illness, but actually attempting to reset the mind. Many patients forgot their own names, identities, even their parents. The CIA also tested hypnotism, using conditioning to implant commands that would trigger after subjects regained consciousness. For instance, hypnotizing someone to perform actions upon hearing a specific word, such as assassinating someone or stealing a file. The goal: to create programmed assassins, acting without evidence. These experiments were not theoretical. They were carried out on real people. Prostitutes were hired to secretly dose clients with LSD and observe their behavior. This sub-project was called Operation Midnight Climax. Special rooms were set up with hidden cameras and one-way mirrors. CIA officers observed behavior under LSD's effects, recording loss of inhibition and eventual breakdown. After 1964, MK-Ultra gradually wound down. In 1973, CIA Director Richard Helms ordered all MK-Ultra records destroyed, citing national security. Only a few documents survived, and those revealed fragments of this horror. In 1975, when the U.S. Congress began investigating CIA operations, the truth of MK-Ultra emerged. The Church Committee held hearings, and the CIA admitted to having conducted such experiments. However, because most documents had been destroyed, the full scale could never be uncovered. There was no accountability, no prosecutions. Many experts believe MK-Ultra was only a cover, that modern mind control experiments continue under other names. Conspiracy theorists argue that today's media manipulation, social engineering, and even technologies like neural implants form an invisible network controlling us. Even now, when we watch ads, listen to news, use social media, many wonder, are these natural experiences or are unseen forces shaping our minds? MK-Ultra was a warning. When governments justify anything in the name of national security, human freedom and mental integrity are sacrificed first. The question remains, is your mind truly your own?